hurt yourself. I do.
You all right? Surely the presence of joy is in this place. I can feel its waiting power and its grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory in each face. Surely the presence of joy is in this place. Surely the presence of peace is in this place. I can feel its loving power and its grace. There's a holy truth within us that no memory can replace. Surely the presence of peace is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its tender power and its grace. There's a holy glow within us that nothing can erase. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
Good morning on this gorgeous, gorgeous morning. I wrote a little statement down here. Our intent isn't to feel better, but to get better at feeling. I think the second part of this is necessary before you can have the first part. I think if we want to feel better in our own self, we need to be able to feel the goodness and the health, mental, physical, spiritual health of our surroundings, whatever that might be. I'd like to read a Thomas Merton quote to you, because I'm going to talk about compassion today. The whole idea of compassion is based on a keen awareness of the interdependence of all living things, all living beings, which are all part of one another and all involved in one another. And when we can feel that interdependence, we'll feel better. And I think that's absolute truth. And so it is. Now, I made a huge error today. My dad used to tell me all the time, ain't no sense being ignorant, let it show. I double booked for the mini message. And Janet Light is going to actually be the minute message. So if you want to change the name on your order of service, then we could just carry Kathryn until next week. But I made an error and I apologize. So Linda, Janet, you are ready to go.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's great to see everyone here. It's great to see everyone here today. Today's Father's Day, and I know that each and every one of you have had your own experience. It may be a memory or an experience, but whatever we have, we are thinking about our father possibly today. I would like to share about my father, my dad. A little background about this is there was a radio contest, and the contest was, what makes a top pop? What makes a top pop? One who said I do, and still does, 47 years later. Knew the teen phone-a-thon began at 7, so got his calls in early. Spent many evenings teaching new math so he could help a teary-eyed teenager. Always made my friends feel welcome, even Diana with the laugh like a hyena. Had his job security crumble at midlife, but his love for his family and his outlook remain solid. With love and little money, he gives his family many gifts. The gift of love, optimism, and patience. Doesn't give up when the golden years bring physical disability that challenges his walking and takes away his ability to drive. Sees his children grow up to be his loving friends. Father's Day, 1988. And I was blessed to have him for another 10 years. Namaste.
Janet, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, good morning, one and all. And happy Father's Day, wherever that works. And there's only like 2 people in here that are fathers, I think. And so 3. Are you a father? So 3 guys. That's the. And Mike, you aren't a father yet, are you?
We have 2 cats.
What's that?
We have 2 cats.
Oh, well, happy Father's Day there. Appreciate it.
Yes, but you had a father. That's the point.
I would like to thank the people that showed up yesterday to do a little walkthrough inspection and kind of update our projects needed done. We had a nice time and sat around and talked, had coffee and donuts, did a walk around, and somebody took notes and wrote it all down. So that'll be cool. We'll press forward with vigor, like JFK used to say, with vigor. So this coming week, I think the Monday night healing circle is going to be in a couple of weeks. I think on the 23rd, 24th maybe. And Thursday book group is not this week, it's next week. So we got just a whole week of just hanging out, doing not a whole lot. Next Saturday, and I don't know anything any more than most of you know, Linda is having a birthday party in the hall from 5 till 8. Call her and see what the plan is. I think it's going to be a potluck kind of a thing. So I don't know any more than that. The 29th, a week from Saturday, we are going to have Gas Money, a group of teenager bands that are off the charts. They are amazing. So we're really fortunate to have them. And we got some more young people in the corridors that are going to be coming in out of Santa Rosa and Marin. So that's really exciting to get some new kids coming in for our cabaret. So remind everybody, July 13th is the Pancake Breakfast and Kids Day Parade. And just a little kind of on the QT, Snoopy's gonna be at our breakfast that morning. So if you know anybody with children's, that'd be a good day to bring children's. Or you can just come and get your picture took with Snoopy. So we'll try that this year and see what happens. And any other announcements? I know I'm forgetting something. I'm just real happy to see Mike here. Mike had some surgery and he's getting on the healing end of things. And so we're real happy to see you back, Mike. And please remember Barbara Colohan. She loves getting the emails and phone messages. She just loves it. So please, if you have a minute, call her and tell her you're thinking about her. It just means a great deal to her. Any other messages? Getting something horrible, I know I am. Well, maybe it'll come to me.
Thank you for prayers and consciousness for my brother. He's home now from the hospital.
Bypass?
And the bypass turned out that it was not one of those where you go through the groin. It was like my dad, where you actually have to open up the sternum. And so let's hold some consciousness for no allergies and sneezing. That's been troublesome. Pretty scary. And he's got that beautiful, those Ladies Aid Society make those beautiful heart pillows. That's his best friend right now.
Yes, I threw mine at a nurse practitioner as I was leaving Memorial. So anyway, it was worth it. So anyway, any other announcements? Well, my father, my dad used to, this may sound awful, but I'll tell you a little about my old man. He was one of 18 kids, and he grew up hard and poor, really poor. His dad died when he was 13, 18 kids, and his mother raised everybody on what they called back then, not welfare, really. And they had to wear button shoes with the little button tools that you did that. Everybody else had string shoes, and they were called the white trash of the town. And he grew up and he transcended that enigma that he had, or the stigma, and he became a really good man. And he gave me some advice from time to time, and one I want to impart with you today. He said, there's two things that demand your respect in other people or other people. Number one is their integrity. And number two is their level of give a damn. How much do they care? And those require respect, no matter how they live their life, what they do, what they accomplish, what color their skin, what church they go to or don't go to. Those two things in life, people that can maintain those two assets in their lives, demand your respect and your honor. So I'll just leave that. But this was his favorite song. It was in our old Methodist hymnal. And he'd just sing this out in the backyard when he knew I'd been less than truthful about some items in my life. And he'd sing this song over and over and just stare at me. So anyway, let's stand up and sing, I Would Be True.
Those who care, I would be strong. There are those who suffer, I would be brave. For there is much to share. I would be brave, for there is much to bear. I would be friend. All the folk of friendless, I would be given for forgiven gifts. I would be gentle and lendless for others. I would look up and laugh and love and learn. I would look up and you know what to do. This is when we have the privilege of greeting each other. The traditional Church of the Oaks fashion. I've been doing my mother.
Yeah, they did x-rays, but it wasn't enough to call it. Hello. Hello.
Good to see you. Good morning.
Good.
Did you get that check?
I did. Yes, Sabrena said that you just have to all the exercises on your hands. Yes.
I think that's a healthy thing to do.
Yeah. They didn't do this in church when I was a kid. They didn't do this in church when I was a kid. They didn't touch or shake hands or nothing. It was real stoic in there. Especially before didn't know this as a kid. It's just old-fashioned Irish Catholic church.
Oh yeah. It's important to feel very unworthy.
Jeez, yeah, gosh.
How about a big deep breath in and then let it all out, just exasperating and appreciating all the energy and caring that we just got to share with each other. I remember what it is I wanted to tell you about. Did any of you in the last couple weeks get a familiar looking envelope in the mail? And did you remember who it was from? And did you open it? And I'm going to, how are you doing with that? You having success? Any level of success?
1 out of 2.
1 out of 2? That ain't bad. So, I didn't forget this year. I remember one year we were getting ready for the candlelight for the burning bowl service, and I had the stuff, and there were all the things. A week before, I hadn't mailed them out, so I brought them, and it was humorous at the time. I would like to talk to you a little about our abundance and prosperity. I think it's kind of the same thing. Last week, our board, I think it was last week, wasn't it last week, decided to make a tithe to an organization called STOP, S-T-O-P, survivingtheoddsproject.org. And I invite all of you to write that down, Surviving the Odds Project, STO project.org. And we gave them that check on, I don't remember, Tuesday or Wednesday this week. And it could have been, I guess it was last week. So anyway, they have a group. This gentleman, I had breakfast with him and his wife this week. And they live in Santa Rosa. Their nonprofit is actually based in Marin, I don't know, San Rafael, Nevada, someplace. And they're taking kids that have the odds stacked against them. A lot of kids of color, kids that have been down to juvenile hall and detention centers and having a lot of stuff, the odds stacked up against them. And they are immersing them in the field of music. They're teaching them sound and lighting engineering. They're teaching them how to write music, how to perform, how to write the lyrics and the melodies lines, and having performance opportunities. And they're delighted. And after school starts back, we're going to have some of their groups here for our cabaret. And I just think it's a tremendous thing that they're doing. They're really working with the kids that the odds are against them just from the get-go. And there's a lot of kids in our society that this has been helping. So I want you to look it up and give them your thoughts and feelings of admiration and expectancy or envision success, and give their project some of your light and power. And because it's really a fine group of people. I think that's That's all I need to talk about in abundance. It's all around us, and the more we let flow through us, the more we can enjoy and benefit from the abundance and prosperity. Let's read together the thing about the grass. That thing, yes. Thank you, Wayne. Gratitude is the key to the realization and manifestation of abundance. May we ponder that, Maestro. Michael, thank you very much, and we're glad you're here today, Michael. Thank you. As we prepare ourselves for our meditation this morning, let's sing In the Stillness of the Silence, number 97 in the Winds.
In the stillness of the silence, I am one with perfect light. I am yet, I live in freedom. Joy that fills me, thrills me, in the stillness of the silence, I am one with light and love. I am wise, my thoughts are loving. Peace that fills me, thrills me, in the stillness of the silence, I am one with God the good. I am trusting, yes, and listening. Faith that fills me, thrills me,
Good morning. I'm sad to see that Yvonne is not with us today. I am attributing the inspiration for this meditation to her. I am, I accept, I appreciate. She was expressing that recently with us and spread peace across our group. Unlike Yvonne, I'd been fretting. I'd been pondering a certain project that I wanted to get into. It was almost 2 years in the making, and I couldn't move forward. I needed rocks, and I needed a truck. I needed some help hauling things and some help with equipment, things I didn't have. I tensed up numerous times considering this project and literally got a pain in the neck. That kept bothering me until I did some physical therapy and self-compassion work. I pondered, let go, and let God as I stretched and relaxed. It took a lot of practice. Then lo and behold, my neighbor came forward, kind of whining one day, saying he had all this rock in his backyard that he didn't want anymore. No truck, no cost, no time, and both of our projects would be done. Thank goodness the universal flow of good had answered both of us. I am in the flow. I am I accept my good. I appreciate how simple it can be. I am, I accept, I appreciate. Inspiration is sometimes defined simply as the in-breath. Please join me now in the flow of a breath of pure inspiration. Breathe in, relax, know that you are cared for. Breathe in, accept your good. Breathe in, appreciate the flow of life. I am, I accept, I appreciate. Join me in a meditation on that. I am, I accept, I appreciate. Join me now back here in the presence. When you get a chance, take your shoes off out in the grass and ground your body. Release, relax, let go. And take a moment to ask Yvonne how she's doing. I think you'll find inspiration.
Thank you, Joy. Compassion. I did the inquiring minds about compassion this week, and it got me to thinking we've all heard of that before, but I kind of asked the question in the Inquiring Minds paragraph of what is your definition of compassion? What do you think of? Can you describe it? And I checked this out. Took me most of the week, but there are 736,915,406 or 7 words that have been written trying to describe and talk about compassion. And I think compassion is more than what any of us kind of maybe are familiar with wrapping our heads around. Acts of kindness, I think all of us have had that, what would I call it? That orgasmic feeling of joy when we do an act of kindness to someone. Well, I gave the homeless dude $10. I let that lady park in a place I was hoping I'd get. That's okay. Let somebody in that isn't merging right on the freeway, that you just back down and let them in. Little acts of kindness. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think that that is the completeness that compassion can offer in our lives. We were having some coffee yesterday when we were talking about all the stuff that needs done. And I think Kathryn, you said something that really struck me. We were talking about people being late and early, and she said she heard someone say that when people were late, it was because they didn't think they mattered. I'd never heard that before, but I think that just, whoa, that's a whole new way of thinking about it. I always thought the people who are late are just all about them and could care less about you. But I think maybe it's more about real low self-worth feelings. And I've got a ton of things here to read, but nobody knows who wrote this, but it's the lack of love for ourselves that inhibits our compassion towards others. If we make friends with ourselves, then there's no obstacle to opening our hearts and minds to others. If you don't hear anything else that I say today or any of these great things that I'd like to read to you, remember that it's got to start inside of you. And I think that compassion is more of a consciousness than any acts of kindness. And some people describe compassion as being able to put yourself in some other person who is suffering or going through stuff. Put yourself in their place and feel it with them. I think if you can't feel what's going on in your whole life, like learning to feel more, like we started out this morning, how can you possibly genuinely feel what somebody else is going through? How can you possibly add your life experience wisdom to be helpful or emotionally encouraging to someone? I think all of the work that we need to do within our community, we can certainly do it. We have the wherewithal to do it, providing we're willing and able to do the work within ourselves. I'm almost ashamed to admit how many times I will talk about being compassionate and embracing the cots and the food banks and all these different programs and all these nonprofits that we work at. And I'll still catch myself walking by some homeless dude, and oh God, I hope I don't catch nothing. It's like, and I'm so ashamed. And I don't think I'm any different than the rest of us. I think we all have those feelings. I don't know if I would let that person in my car. You know, it's just, um, we have built up culturally this this judgment thing, this set of guidelines or parameters to living and accepting each other, accepting all life forms as being part of us. We're all part of the same mechanism called the universe. We're all a unique but important part of it. And we're here for a little bit of time and then we go on, but what we were here for doesn't change. 500 years from now, what we were here for still has the value of why we were here, why we were in this form. It's just there some wonderful things I'd like to read to you because these people that are smart, they say it so much better than I do. Albert Einstein wrote, "A human being is part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison of time and space by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty." Can we do that? I think we can work on it. The Dalai Lama has volumes. Love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. I believe compassion to be one of the few things we can practice that will bring immediate and long-term happiness to our lives. I'm not talking about the short-term gratification of pleasures like sex, drugs, gambling, though I'm not knocking them, but sometimes that will bring true and lasting happiness, the kind that sticks. Compassion is the radicalism of our time. I just, these short paragraphs, if you really wrap your head around them, they can give you cause to reflect on your own actions, your own thoughts for a very long time. And we do have it within our power to make these adjustments in the way we think. We've got so many habitual thought and judgment processes going on in our lives all the time. And that's what we need to look at and check out. And we can choose to shift, to make adjustments. We can reject anything else, religion, ideology, all received wisdom, but we can't escape the necessity of love and compassion. This then is my true religion, my simple faith. In this sense, there is no need for a temple or a church or a mosque or a synagogue. No need for complicated philosophy, doctrine, or dogma. Our own heart, our own mind is the temple. The doctrine is compassion, love for others, and respect for their rights and dignity, no matter who or what they are. Ultimately, these are all we need. It still comes down to we just have to be mindful. We just have to learn to feel more. And as we feel more and we learn more and we see more and we're able to practice this compassion with ourselves and others. Compassion doesn't know, I wrote in the order of service, giving or receiving. I don't think that's applicable here. It's not like sharing. Compassion is a a practice. It's a mindset. It's a consciousness. And we either use it or we don't. And sometimes we do nice things, kind things, respectful things, appropriate things. But is that really compassion? Are we really living our lives with a consciousness of compassion? I don't think there's a person that I know of, maybe a couple, like the Dalai Lama maybe, who actually live their lives with a consciousness of compassion pretty much all the time. But I think we can improve where we are today. I mean, we're here to be a life enrichment center. And if we improve that much, if we elevate our consciousness that much, our lives and the life form, the life thing on our universe is improved, enriched that much. And I think we can all do that much. Positive, I'm sure of it. And as I look at the people, you sitting here in these pews, I've watched all of you actually for quite some time now, even Michael. And I have seen your lives enriched as you have adjusted the way you think, the way you interact with one another, the way you actually start practicing abundance, prosperity, compassion, kindness, empathy, acceptance, forgiveness. Almost every one of you have talked to me at some point in time about something that's going on in your life that you wish could be better. And I watch you. And you have the tenacity, you have the stick-to-itiveness to use some of these practices that we talk about and ideas that we share with each other. And I've watched your lives improve. I've watched your consciousness elevate. And I can't think, I walked in these doors August 20th in the year 2000. And I can't begin to write down the difference that I have seen happen in this room full of people in 24 years. I don't have enough time to write down all of the changes, the improvements I've seen in attitudes, in levels of caring, in levels of acceptance and forgiveness, in the team spirit, the family concept, the community concept, that favorite word of mine, that we consciousness. So I'm just a little reminder about some things. I want to read something by Emerson, guy with 3 names, Ralph Waldo Emerson. I can never remember his name, ever, and he's one of my favorite people in the whole world. The purpose of life is not to be happy, it's to be useful, to be honorable, and to be compassionate. To have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. I'll finish up with a quote from, others 2 I want to read. 3, maybe 4, who knows. Jack Cornfield, Jack Cornfield, we all have heard of Jack. Some of us have seen Jack. If your compassion does not include yourself, it's incomplete. It's not really compassion. It's something close. And Thich Nhat Hanh from Vietnam, we often think of peace as the absence of war. that if the powerful countries would reduce their arsenals, we could have peace. But if we look deeply into the weapons, we see our own minds, our prejudices, our fears, and ignorance. Even if we transported all the bombs to the moon, the roots of our war and the reason for bombs would still be here, in our hearts and minds, and sooner or later, we'd have to make new bombs. Seek to become more aware of what causes anger and separation and what overcomes them. Root out the violence in your life and learn to live compassionately and mindfully. If you are motivated by loving kindness and compassion, there are many ways to bring happiness to others right now, starting with kind speech. Thich Nhat Hanh, one of my heroes of all time. He passed a couple of years ago, and I always wanted to meet him. I was where he was, and how he got thrown out of his country for talking about peace and about kindness, and they were committed to war for decades and decades and decades. MLK, compassion and nonviolence help us to see the enemy's point of view, to hear their questions, to know their assessment of ourselves. For from their viewpoint, we may indeed see the basic weakness of our own condition. And if we are mature, we may learn and grow and profit from that wisdom. True compassion is more than flinging a coin to a beggar. It comes to see that the edifice which produces beggars needs restructuring. The only thing that will ever bring true peace on this planet is if the bulk of society can practice compassion and acceptance and forgiveness. It's a big order. Can we do that? I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know that if we don't try, if we don't give this some thought and try to become more compassionate and forgiving and accepting, peace ain't never going to happen. We're just fueling the wrong end of the whole purpose that we're trying to change. We have so much power at our disposal. Who was it said we always wind up thinking small instead of thinking large? I think that was Marianne Williamson. It just, we can do things we can't even imagine. And what allows us to do the things we can't even imagine we can do is our connection with every other human being, with spirit, with the rocks and with the mountains and with the rivers and the oceans. We have all of that genius, all of that capacity within us. Sorry, I'm coughing so much. I'm getting over pneumonia and the pills are working and I'm cleaning out, so I apologize. So let's stand up and think about ourselves, not think small. Let's think of ourselves as free and unlimited, and we can do whatever we choose to do, and we can have peace on this earth. We can live lives based on a consciousness of compassion. And so it is.
I'm free. right now, I am free and unlimited. There are no chains around me. I am free and unlimited. Right now, right now. Little amen, and Kelly's got to move. Go stand right there. Yeah. Yeah.